The property sector conference is underway in Durban, and in his keynote address, Public Works and Infrastructure Development Minister Sihle Zikalala said the department is working on taking back all illegally occupied buildings in the city. Ntando Mnyandu is standing by to tell us just how they plan to do that. Ntando.
Well, certainly, Zihle, the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, the Honorable Mr. Sihle Zikalala, did not mince his words when he said, it's high time that government take back, the ownership of land, vacant land, and already standing infrastructure like your buildings, because in and around Durban and most parts of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, you've got buildings that are belonging to the state but are at the wrong hands. You've got abandoned buildings, dilapidated buildings, and you also have hijacked buildings, where you would find that it is utilized by your vagrants and, your street kids and people who just, take advantage, of properties that are left, unattended. So today we saw a number of, captains of industries in the property sector coming in. We saw people from the real estate. We saw people from property development, coming in to try and bridge this wedge that seems to be existing between the ownership of properties and buildings and the private sector, because the private sector is raising its hands saying they want to take a full control of these properties, make money out of them, and then the state will benefit. The state, on the other hand, is saying, it has left properties, lying in state for quite some time now, so it's time to take full control of it and to try and strike a balance between the two. So the minister said, well, they are on a drive now to ensure that all, illegal occupants who have hijacked buildings in and around the city of eThekwini and other, cities within the province of KwaZulu-Natal, their days are numbered, because now they are coming for them. They are really going all out to ensure that those buildings and those properties and even those piece of vacant land are taken back to the stewardship of government. But to dip in and take a listen at how are they planning to go about doing this, let us dip into this bite where the minister, we took him from the podium, emphatically explaining how they would go about, taking ownership of these abandoned and hijacked buildings.
Well, there are abandoned buildings. There are also hijacked buildings where there are illegal occupants. We are evicting the illegal occupants, take full control of our buildings. We are taking those buildings out into the market to invite the private sector to participate. Either they can use those as accommodation for residential purposes, or we can look on how we develop them to be offices that can house the departments that we have as government. We would want all buildings that are owned by the state to be utilized meaningfully and to benefit the state. It doesn't help us to continue renting and paying money while we have government buildings that could be used to house government departments.
Well, the minister, also touched on the issue that most of these buildings have been left unattended for far too long, saying that they have left this to the hands of the private sector for far too long. Not saying that they can't do business with the private sector, but he says that, well, it's time that this is closely monitored. They're even developing, new strategies to ensure that it's not, business as usual, when it comes to how private sector, cuts a piece of this pie. But this is what the minister went on to say. Let's take a listen.
I think the state in the past years have surrendered its role to the private sector. And you'll find that things are done through agencies that monitor, that maintain, instead of ensuring that we work through the state organs and do things on our own. So we are building that capacity through the project, the property management trading entity. We would want to ensure that we keep all of these clean, well, in a well-preserved level, and be able to utilize them meaningfully.
Ntando Mnyandu, thank you very much for that update.